down here in the paddock with Brad Irvine, trainer and driver. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Kelly.
Now, you've done an interview with us before. We talked about your firsts, right? Remember that?
I do. I remember.
You did a really great job, and you talked about your first experience driving and everything like that. So I just want you to take us back to maybe how you got involved in the sport even before your first drive.
Okay. Obviously, I grew up in the business. My family was in the business for a long time, and I never really was interested. To be honest with you, I was never interested in racing horses when I was younger. I always played football. My father always told me, oh, you'll be a horseman. And I said, no, I won't. I don't want to do that. Looks like too much work. I'd rather play football, rather go to school. So I did that for a while, and then when I got out of school, I went to Maryland with my father. My father had a big stable, trained with my dad for a long time. Went to work for Joe Pavia, got a job with Joe in Florida when I was a younger guy, and second trained for him. Learned the ropes around a few of the guys that I really respect in the business, including, my dad, Joe, Gordon Norris, guys that were in South Florida, and I kind of just took it from there. I started training and then driving, and just got into the swing of it from there.
Didn't you hate it when your parents are right?
I do. I hate it to this day.
And your mother also is involved in the sport. Pretty inspirational story there. Great driver.
Yeah, my mom actually, she's won a lot of races. I'm not sure exactly what the count is, but she's won a lot of races, and mostly in Ohio. But she did win that matron that we talked about, first woman to ever win a matron, and she always handled herself well on the track, never got into too much trouble. Always, always was really professional.
And your family colors, yellow, very bright like the sun, but you guys all have your own little flair to them, correct?
Exactly, just small variations of the same design that my grandfather had years ago. So out of respect, for the family, we all wear the same colors, just very slight variations.
So you have barn space here on the property, correct?
I do. I'm in Barn B, the end of the road there, and I enjoy it. I like being on the track here. It's nice.
How many horses are you working with?
I have 10 right now.
Trotters, pacers, anything in particular?
Mixed. I have a good mix. I have a couple trotters. The rest are pacers, some fillies, some colts, and young two-year-olds in training. So it's a big mix.
No preference, but any more challenging than the others?
Usually the young ones are more challenging. If you're around long enough, the old horses can tend to be very easy to be around, and it's just kind of like old hat. You kind of know where they're at already. They don't surprise you. But the young ones can be a challenge because they have their good days and bad days, kind of like kids. And, it can be really bad, and the next day they can surprise you and put on a very good effort for you while you're training them, and the next day they could be lousy again. So, they kind of make you knock your head against the wall, but it's fun, it's challenging.
That's got to be rewarding, though, working with the animal from when it's young, and to see it go on and be successful.
I think that, if you talk to any trainer in this business that trains young horses, that's definitely the pinnacle of the sport is developing a young horse, getting it to a big race that you prepped him for, and then achieving your ultimate goal, which is winning that stake race or winning that big race with a horse like that. Nothing's better than that.
Right. And you drive as well. You have your driver's license.
I do, yeah. I drive, and not so much here anymore, but I used to drive over in Massachusetts. It's a tough circuit here. A lot of guys here, a lot of Hall of Famers here, a lot of guys with 8, 9, 10,000 wins. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. Depends on what mood I'm in.
Hitting on that, how do you decide, when you're going to put yourself on a horse or when you'll put a driver on, a different driver?
A lot of times I'm driving horses. If you see me drive a horse of my own, I'm usually driving them because I'm trying to figure them out still, And, I leave the heavy lifting to guys like Campbell and Pavia and those guys that drive for me. And, as far as I'm concerned, it's a very tough circuit. So I'm not out there 10, 11, 12, 13 times a night like some of the guys are. So you can't expect to get the same breaks that the guys that are in heavy rotation get. So I tend to do some troubleshooting when you see me drive. So stay away from the window.
Having barn space here, being on the property and kind of seeing it evolve a little bit, what do you like about the facility?
I think overall, it starts with the track surface, and this has always been, even though you have big improvements here now, there's obviously a beautification around here with all the money that the revenue and everything is brought in from the slots. But I think overall the track surface is the most attractive part of it because horses stay sound on it. It's great form, it's fast, it's everything you want in a track for training and racing. So, overall, that's what does it for me. But obviously, you look around this paddock. It's a giant, nice paddock. It's great for the horses, and that's what I like about the facility. It's good for horses, which obviously is my top priority.
Right, that's something that a lot of fans don't get to see. The paddock is really beautiful, and so much work has been done over the last few years to kind of make it that way.
It really is, and it's really important because obviously horses are an important part of everything that goes on here. So, it's good to give back to the horses. That's how we all make our money. and you look around, there's a lot of money back into the sport here. I mean, Pocono Downs is A1 in my book. I mean, compare it to the Meadowlands or Chester. To me, there's nothing. There's not a better track around than this.
What do you love about your job?
The horses, I hate to keep going back to that, but overall, I mean, that's why I do it in the morning. Obviously, the people that I interact with professionally, I've known for years, so they're friends. And it's nice. It's competitive. You get to come in and see your friends and compete. But overall, the horses are the most rewarding part, and it'll always be that way for me. Just the love of horses.
So I'm going to hit you with some questions, I should say, in the lightning round. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're thinking on your feet, so I think you're good. If you weren't doing this, what do you think that you would have done? What career path?
Actually, I think I would be like a casino host. I kind of like that. My mom lived in Vegas for a while.
Okay.
I kind of chose that. I kind of chose that in my mind a few years back. I thought, if I ever had to get out, I think I'd look into something like that. I like dealing with people.
I think you'd be good at that.
Yeah, you know what? And it pays good too, right?
It's a backup. There you go. What about a favorite restaurant?
I just like Ruth's Chris. It's a little pricey, but you know what? I'm a steak guy, so I kind of like the Outback or Ruth's Chris. But I'll go with Ruth's Chris, and it's short walk over to it from here.
That's right, and they're open late.
They are.
Get a little plug in there for them. That answers my next question because I was going to ask you chicken or steak. What are you having with that steak? What's your favorite drink?
I drink vodka and water.
Vodka and water?
Yes.
Flavored vodka or just?
I just go with the straight vodka. Just some straight Stoli with a lemon and a little water. That's all. Keep it light.
Real man.
That's it.
What about favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I like the old school movies, like Rocky, stuff like that. Something inspirational.
But you don't go to the movies by yourself. We found that out.
No, but I do. I have a couple friends that do. They just let me know that. I don't want to name them on TV, but it's a good secret I can keep between me and you, Kelly.
That way we'll keep that for a later date. And what about music? What's on your iPod?
I'm an old school rock and roll fan. I got the Leonard Skinner shirt on, and I'm gonna go see probably Motley Crue and bands like that. 80s bands I love. I kind of it's my era. I grew up in the 80s, so. I'm kind of stay true to form there, I like my favorite band is like Van Halen.
What's one part of the world that you would like to see that you haven't seen yet?
Anywhere in Europe, I have never got a chance to be over there. I've been to the islands, and I'm not very well traveled, I guess. I've been to Canada, doesn't really count, I guess, and I've been to Mexico and Puerto Rico, but I like to go to Europe. I just think that Italy, Germany, all those places like that are nice to see. And I actually Wally Hennessy told me if I ever got a chance to go to Italy, to go. He went over for a big trot race one time. He drove Moneymaker over there and said, Brad, it's the most beautiful place you'll ever be. Nice restaurants, nice scenery. So, maybe Italy.
Go and enjoy the vino and all the sights and the smells.
All right. I'll switch from vodka to wine when I go over there.
Maybe. We'll have to talk to you when you get back. And what about an idol? Anybody that you look up to?
Obviously my father, my parents, because, I think anybody would tell you that because those are the people that you grow up, that's your inspiration when you're growing up. Outside of that, I don't really know how to answer that. You got me there. You kind of got me. I don't have any outside idols. I just try to do the best I can the way my parents raised me, and that's it.
That's a really great way to live, though. But I'm glad I finally got someone in the lightning round.
You got
finally.
me.
And you always have an answer, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, and when I don't have one, I usually make one up. But you got me.
Thank you so much for taking the time again today. We'll catch up with you again throughout the season.
Okay, thanks, Kelly.